The inclusion of African Americans in the teaching culture. So, what's the problem? We, as the United States, we lack people of color and the education roles. Students are unable to see themselves regularly in any school setting. And I know you're asking yourself, it isn't really that bad, is it? It is. It's actually worse than I ever thought. This data is actually referring to Washington State. 45% of Washington State's public school students are non white, but only 10% of teachers are people of color. And it isn't really a recruiting issue. Recruiting doesn't seem to be the problem. We have many teachers of color who are excited to be into the profession. It's starting to become a retention problem. Um, they are leaving because they're disproportionately serving the most challenging areas: high poverty rates, low academic performance, and poor working conditions, because they're not dissatisfied with teaching. They just feel like they're not being heard, and they don't have similar teaching situations as their white colleagues. So why do they leave? Because their voice isn't being heard. People may be listening and giving ear service, but they're not comprehending what our teachers of color are saying. They're also expected to become a disciplinarian for all of the students with negative behaviors who are students of color, wanting to meet with them and fix them. That's not their job. They should be able to assume a role that is leadership and being a positive influence, not another disciplinarian. It also showed there's major bias in evaluations, and they lack further career opportunities, and it just leads to more people of color leaving the teaching profession. So if color doesn't matter, then why does it matter? If we're colorblind, what difference does it make what color our teachers are? Because it does matter, ultimately. Our expectations and our goals as a white teacher are not the same. Statistically proven with the 2020 article from Strauss. White teachers are 40% less likely to predict that their black students would complete high school and 30% less likely to believe they graduate a 4-year college program. Having colleagues that are going to push your expectations, because the teachers of color, they didn't just say it, they meant it, they expected it. And as we see our students of color and our minority students achieving these high standards and these high goals, having those other teachers around us who truly believe it in their soul that these students can do better, it's going to raise the bar for everybody. There is no one that loses on this. So how do we help with retention? I spoke to a very close friend who is a member of the African American community, and she talked about all of the microaggressions that happen even among other staff members at our school, feeling like you can't fully be yourself around others because you don't know what you're going to be judged for or judged differently. She and I could say and do the exact same thing, but have perceptions be so vastly different. It is interpreted so differently, even with the same words and the same thing coming out. We talk about change. Change is a key word, and how do we make it happen? Knowledge is power. I read the book The Hate U Give this summer for our class, and it was changing for me. We spent many of our coffee dates going over this and talking about what was really happening. I was amazed to find out some of the scenarios that happened in this book happened in our city with our students and with my friend on a very regular basis. If we don't know about it, we can't change it. We form relationships. We don't lean on our teachers of color and our male teachers to do the discipline of our minority students. Understand, listen. Don't just hear the voice. Listen to what it's saying. Find out how to be an advocate for the change of acceptance, and then be the advocate and be the change.